Welcome back. In this video, we're going to read and discuss some AITAs. I've got Reddit pulled up. Let's jump right into it. AITA for saying I am entitled to the food my parents buy. If you're a child, no. If you're an adult, yeah. But let's read. I'm going to keep this short. I'm in college and living with my parents. My parents had an oops baby. My sister is only 4. They can't afford childcare, so instead of getting a part-time job, I help out and take care of her when they are at work. We got into an argument because they haven't gone grocery shopping and we're running low on food. They used the last of the bread for themselves tonight, and when I brought it up that I would eat what I would eat, we got into an argument. They told me I'm grown and it's not their responsibility to feed me anymore. I told them that's BS and I'm entitled to food because I'm taking care of their kid. They're now calling me an entitled brat and saying if I don't fix my attitude, they'll kick me out. I told them go ahead because then they'll be homeless because they can't afford childcare even though both of them are working. My relatives are telling me I'm in the wrong because I'm an adult and need to grow up. So, am I the a-hole? I changed my initial reaction, actually. This is a unique case where an adult insisting that they are entitled to their parents' food is absolutely correct. Your job, your source of income, if you want to put it that way, is childcare for this child. Like, that's you doing your job. Period. Like, what, in exchange for people doing their job, they get a paycheck so that they can buy groceries. Like, you know what do you mean? No. this this was one of the probably like rare situations where I would say no, I don't think so at all. They are calling you an entitled brat. I think that's really above and beyond. I really do. Especially if it just started with you asking like, what am I gonna eat? You know, like is there anything for me? Can we like wow. Yeah, they can't afford childcare, so instead of getting a part-time job to help out, I take care of her when they're at work. That is a part-time job. Sorry to break it to you, but like you have a part-time job. Room and board or whatever should be like compensation. Should it not? I'm going with a firm NTA, but let me scroll down and see if the peoples agree. NTA, so you're an adult and need to grow up, but your parents don't. They can either make sure there's food in the house for their kids. If there was nothing for you to eat, what did they give your sister? Or one of them can be a stay-at-home parent and watch the child they created. Period. I'm not even going to read the rest of that comment because period. Okay, yeah, this is what I was questioning. Edit or question info. Was there other food in the house that you could have eaten aside from the bread? Regardless, it sounds like your living situation has run its course. You should probably get a job and move out. Period. Technically, yes. The plan was to have PB&J sandwiches. They ate all the bread, which left me with some uncooked plain white rice, dry cereal, and a spoonful of peanut butter for my meal. So it's like technically yes, there was other food, but like it seems like not really. You know, like it seemed like she was having an actual struggle meal, while the parents. I mean, it was still a struggle meal. PB&J's, but anyways. Yeah, people are basically just suggesting if food's that tight, look for a food pantry. But anyways, everybody's pretty much like NTA because you do have a job. Your job is nanny, childcare, whatever you want to call it. And that entitles you enough to have like room and board, I would say. Let's move on to another one though. AITA for not letting my husband's friend in our house. Probably. I can only imagine there's a really good reason for this. Let's read. To start, my husband's friendship with Mike is complicated. I'm not going to get into the friendship here for anonymity. Long story short, they are friends, not best friends, and my husband limits his time around Mike. Mike is the type of person who says anything he wants regardless of how it might hurt someone. The frustrating part is no one ever holds him accountable, not his family, his wife, nor my husband. Last week, he made a rude, hurtful, and ignorant comment about people with a particular color of hair. He knows he has seen me with this color, purple, hair, which I currently have. I said at the time that I was uncomfortable with his comment, and he just doubled down. My husband did shut the phone off as soon as he doubled down. I am not really upset about his comment. I know he's a jerk. I am upset that everyone is acting like it's okay for him to say rude things about me and others with no consequences or consideration for how it may make others feel. I have told my husband I am annoyed and uncomfortable and do not want Mike in our home until I get a meaningful and honest apology where he explains to me that he understands how his comment was hurtful. To be clear, I'm not telling my husband he cannot hang out with Mike. I'm saying not in our home. Now, Mike's wife is telling me that I overreacted and that Mike is just like that and won't change. Mike is upset and saying that I am being a wimp, not the word he used, much, much worse, and overreacting. My husband is respecting my wishes and apologized to me. I know that Mike won't change his opinion and his brazen comments. He is not my friend, and I am not asking him to change. I am asking him to apologize to me for a hurtful comment he made and take accountability for what he said. Whether he changes or not is up to him. So, am I the a-hole for not letting my husband's friend into our home? No, I don't think so. I was kind of like back and forth as I was reading that because it does seem like you're being a little dramatic. It just in my personal opinion. However, here's the thing though. You have every right to do that inside of your home. You have every right to feel however you want to feel inside your home. You have every right to be talked to and treated and surrounded by the people that you want to in your own home, in your private space. And so I am going with a very firm NTA on this one. Again, it's not like they can't hang out by all means, but like in my personal private space, I don't want that person. I think that's pretty reasonable, especially if you go back up to that first part where they're talking about like even the husband limits time with Mike. So it's not even like it's a complicated like, oh, he's my BFF, like I love him around all the time, or like I don't know, he's not like fam who I don't know. Anyway, it's just like even the husband already doesn't want to spend a lot of time with this man, and so it's like just do it outside the house anyways. Like if you're not gonna spend that much time together, it can just be out of the house, right? And I love that the husband is like respecting her wishes, and apologizing as he should. I feel like, or not apologizing, but like respecting her wishes because she has every right to not have people she doesn't like in her own home. Let me scroll down and see if the people agree. Absolutely NTA. By not wanting him around, you're just stating your boundaries, and it's perfectly reasonable based on the type of person he is. Yeah, no, absolutely. NTA and good for you. Let me guess, Mike is one of those, I just tell it how it is people, and people are too sensitive and have no sense of humor. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting to, dude. Further hypothesis. I'm reading the comments. Further hypothesis. If anyone ever slightly criticizes Mike, let me guess, he absolutely crumbles immediately and spends the evening sobbing to his wife about the bad, mean person. Seriously, these people can dish it and not take it back. NTA, you're not obliged to let anyone into your house. I'm not even going to read the rest of that comment because I think that, period, that summed it up really well. Let's move on to another one, shall we? AITA for refusing. What's happening here? Oh, it's like a weird. Okay, I can still read it. It's a weird format. Why is it like that? AITA for refusing to help my husband purchase the home he really wants. I mean, probably. Again, like I love to just assume and give my first impressions, but like probably I feel like husband and wife, husband and whoever should be like working as a pair. Why are you refusing to help him like work on his dreams? Let's see if there's a reason. My husband, 27 male, and I, 29 female, have been looking into buying a duplex for our first home. We want to live on one side and rent out the other to reduce the cost of our mortgage. It's been a very long, difficult process considering the competitive market and some high prices. So I was thrilled when my husband said he found one that was perfect, that was listed just at our price. When I got home from work, we looked at the pictures together, checked all the boxes except for one thing. After continuing to read the description, I noticed the ad said that they were long-term tenants already occupying both sides of the house and that they wanted to stay. When I pointed this out, my husband said he knew, but after we bought the house, We would just kick them out so we could move in. I told him I don't feel comfortable doing something like that to someone. His response was that as a landlord, we need to get used to doing something like this, and that if we don't buy the property, the next person will and will likely do the same thing. I told him I thought he was getting too greedy and that it just wasn't right. I understand being a landlord would require us to make these difficult decisions if our tenants weren't paying rent, damaging the property, amongst other issues, but I don't feel comfortable kicking people to the curb so that I have a place to live. And he keeps repeating himself, trying to convince me that this was a common and acceptable thing to do. I kept telling him I wasn't willing to view the house if it meant doing this. This made him angry and he wouldn't speak to me for the rest of the evening, and we ended up sleeping in separate rooms. AITA. I'm going to ponder that for just 2 seconds. I need to consider, because that was more to the story than I expected. Like, I still stand by my original that a husband and a wife need to work together on making a dream work, but it doesn't have to be with this exact house. And I think that a husband and a wife need to work together, meaning like sometimes you both might compromise a little bit, where if she feels really strongly against something, maybe he can compromise on it. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of on her side. Well, like I'm mostly on her side. I feel like he's probably logically correct. I feel like this is a classic case of like logic versus emotional thinking that tends to run in males versus females, where the male is like thinking about it a little bit more logically and like how can we get ourselves and our family ahead and how can we support ourselves well, and thinking like, yeah, most likely he's right. If they don't buy it and kick those people out, it's probably going to be bought by someone else who's going to kick them out. They're not wrong. He's not wrong, I don't think. I don't know much about it, but it doesn't seem like he's wrong. But I completely and personally agree with her side of it, where it's like, that's messed up. That's wrong. That's not okay to kick other people out and kick other people down and mess with other people's success to get yourself ahead. And I do think it's important that emotional thinking balances logical thinking and vice versa. Like, it's important not to go too far in either one of those directions. But it's more important to like lean towards the logic. But I do just feel like you can still probably achieve what you guys are trying to achieve here without having to do it in a way that makes the wife feel like so unsavory about it, in a way that harms other people. Like, just because someone else is going to harm those people doesn't mean you have to be the one to harm that people if you don't need to. So I'm not sure that that's a good excuse either. This whole like, oh well, some landlord's going to do it anyways, right? It's like, I don't know. So it's like I should go steal from these people just because other people steal from people. Like, I don't really, you know what I mean? I don't really subscribe to that. I think it's more the opposite. Because people steal and lie and do bad things makes it even more important that I don't do those things. I am going to go with NTA, but I want to scroll down and see what people think. NTA, it's respectable that you have compassion for them, but there has to be a compromise found here. We bought a house with tenants and the lease wasn't over. We had the right to kick them out once the property changed hands. New owners sometimes mean previous tenants no longer have the right to stay. In our case, we wanted the tenants, but we were told by our lord that we had every right to kick them out and lease to new tenants. Honestly, that kind of scared me. So many people's lives could be messed up with the property changing hands. Yeah, NTA, it's not that unusual. People buying are usually happy that they have long-term tenants. If they have a lease, it stays in effect until the end, even if you buy the property. So you can't kick them out until the end of their lease. If they are month to month, they get a month's notice. So your husband can't just run in and make changes without all facts. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not gonna go in and research it. NTA, but you need to know that the landlord-tenant laws in your area before you decide to do that. Anyways, people are just talking about like the actual like logistics of are you allowed to kick people out and stuff, and I don't care about any of that. I just wanted to see if people think you're an a-hole or not. Yeah, pretty much everybody is agreeing like NTA, and also they're just kind of pointing out that even as a new buyer, you probably still have to agree to their like follow through their lease anyways. So I'm not sure that's gonna work out anyways. Let's scroll for another one. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Everybody's talking about people putting their kids on, like mothers dolling up their kids online for views. That's what this title made me think of. Let's read it. AITA for telling my mom I'm not her doll. I'm 16 and my mom likes dressing me and my 3 other siblings in these matching clothes and colors, but now I want more freedom. For example, some weeks ago when she wanted me to wear a dress I've always said I don't like because it doesn't look good on me. But her mentality is that if she likes it on me, I have to wear it. I'm convinced this is where 90% of my self-esteem issues started. Trying to convince me to wear the dress, she asks my sisters if the dress is pretty. From experience, they know if they say anything but yes, she'll get angry and accuse us of ganging up against her. So their opinion meant little to me. She's been doing this for years, and I finally got fed up and said I'm not wearing the ugly dress and that I'm not her doll, that she can dress up. I admit that I may have taken it too far with that comment, but then she started yelling at me that I was being disrespectful. She insisted that I have to listen to what she says because she's the parent, and if I don't appreciate what she's done for me, she can leave me and walk out of my life because I stress her out too much. I'm sorry, I'm fucking triggered right now. But I'll read on. I get my mom's been under a lot of stress since my dad left. I'm not surprised. She wasn't working when he left, so it's been really hard. I tried to be considerate and give my mom easy time, but this has just been something that's been happening for a long time, and I was done. I tried to explain that wanting to control over something as simple as clothing is not being disrespectful, and that if I did disrespect her, I was sorry. However, she continued to criticize me, saying I looked bad and scoffing whenever she looked at me. She claimed that because of my behavior, my youngest siblings, 6 and 11, were following me and refusing to wear what she chooses for them. I started crying because I was upset, so I wore the dress she wanted me to wear. When I talked to her about it, she said that I decided to wear the dress, so I shouldn't be mad at her. However, she also promised that she would no longer meddle in my clothes choices. You have to understand, I have no problem matching with my siblings, so I usually ask what colors they'll be wearing and choose an outfit accordingly. I don't even mind when she gives me input or outfit ideas. It's only when she forces me to wear something that I really don't like or really feel uncomfortable in that there's a problem. A couple weeks later, today, she told me that she had no colors in mind and to choose anything. But when I chose my outfit, she told me that I had to wear a different dress because she'd changed her mind and wanted us to match. I was upset because I was already wearing an outfit I liked. The taxi was arriving in 10 minutes, so I said it was okay that I didn't match for one day. But she said if I didn't match, I couldn't go. I stood my ground and said I'm not changing. So she told the taxi to leave without me. Now I'm sitting at home right now and I feel I've overreacted. AITA for not listening to my mom. Your mom sounds like a crazy bitch. Sorry to sugarcoat it so much, but like, what? Your mom sounds crazy. No wonder the dad left. Like, what is even all of this madness about? Like, over control and yelling and getting angry when everything isn't exactly the way she needs it to be. Like, chill. I think if anything I could say, perhaps the like sudden outburst wasn't the most helpful of response. Maybe like a more calm telling her that might have helped a little. But here's the thing is I just don't think that mom is the kind of person who's going to receive that message, whether it's calm and polite or blurted out of frustration. So ultimately it doesn't really matter that much. But no, I don't think you're being an a-hole. I think that as a person grows, it's very important for them to come into themselves and figure out their individuality. And like you said, your mother's giving you a lot of self-esteem issues with like talking about how you look and nitpicking on how you look and deciding how you need to look and making you match and wear things that you don't feel comfortable in and stuff. That's a really big problem. And I'm at a firm NTA, and I want to just scroll down here and see. Pretty much everybody's NTA. NTA, you're right. At 16, you shouldn't have to wear outfits, especially chosen by your mom. NTA, your mom is respectful, not mentally well if she throws a tantrum over you refusing to match with your younger. Honestly, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's something wrong with your mom if she's like literally throwing a tantrum over you not wanting to dress like this anymore. I feel like the mom is like losing control of her life and trying to like buckle it all back in. That's just the vibe I'm getting from the story. Pretty much a resounding NTA. And on that note, I think it's time to start winding down for the evening. So I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked that video, don't forget to hit that little thumbs up down below. Subscribe while you're hanging out down there. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.